And we are live. What's up, everybody? It's Sandman, and this is Dave Blue Girl to my left. And today we are going to be discussing Chapter 6 of the ongoing Star Wars television series exclusive to Disney Plus streaming service, The Mandalorian. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I know you particularly told me many, many times since this episode aired, this is your favorite of The Mandalorian so far. And you've not been saying that every episode. You've been very reserved to use that word. What was it about this episode this time that really got you loving it as much as you do?
Well, one reason is because I'm a huge fan of heist films. Now, if you watch movies like Dog Day Afternoon, Inside
Mm-hmm.
Man, uh, and movies like that,
Reservoir
along
Dogs.
with Reservoir Dogs, uh, Heat,
Mm-hmm.
those movies like that along that genre, those are some of my favorite ones that I really enjoy watching as far as that genre goes. And this is what basically what it was or is a heist episode. And that being said, is that when he had to go and somebody had hired him, an old friend of his wanted to bring him on board to break out somebody. They literally had to go and uh, to this prison to break out this girl's or part of the team. I can't remember her name anymore, but her brother, and then they had to go back and everything. But it was just the whole aspect of the whole situation is what that was so intense. And I told y'all that when I watched it before. Normally y'all would watch it before I get a chance, but I was
Mm-hmm.
able to check it
You
out
saw
before
it
y'all.
before us. You did.
And I said, look, the first scene is like really intense right there. It really got heated right there. You could tell the tension between the characters. It's like, whew, something's going to happen. And sure enough, something did happen. And I just love that aspect of that whole episode and how everybody that was involved in there, and it includes like everybody, like even the child, as, as we call it,
Yeah.
or Baby
Don't you dare
Yoda.
call him Baby Yoda. That's the child.
uh, but yeah, he was involved in that too, So and there's this particular scene that I really loved, the whole episode that involved him, and I thought it was so funny. But what you think of it, Harry?
Yeah, I mean, this had, as you said, the tension in the air. The Mandalorian is not comfortable with the job, first of all, because he didn't want that much heat, as he said. This is going after a New Republic prisoner ship, maximum security, that's filled with droids. You know how much he loves droids, and one of the there's a lot of tension between him and the other members of this crew that are going to do this job. And early on, you could tell it wasn't going to be a smooth ride for him. But as usual, our hero of this series, he keeps his cool and he makes his plays when he needs to. And he was put in a position multiple times by these guys where they were obviously his best intention was the least of their worries. And when they discovered the child, that was a little situation of tense right there. And then them wanting to take his helmet from him, like they didn't just, I mean, they just wouldn't let off of him.
No, they basically, as you could say, somewhat bullied him and picked on him
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, you know,
Right.
and they were just basically using him, to get where they needed to be. And when you bring somebody new aboard that know nothing about, of course you're gonna want to try to take advantage of that and everything. So that's what they used him for that particular situation as
Yeah.
I guess you could say, as a decoy to take advantage of what they wanted to do, and then try to leave him behind to take off. You know.
Yeah. It was like they were testing how much they could, prior to the mission,
Hmm.
they were testing his mannerisms, like how much could they push him before he would go over the edge and do something. And his high tolerance for putting up with their crap I guess they were, it wasn't what they expected. They wanted him to immediately want to get physical with them and fight. That, but he was able to keep cool, and he knew what they were doing. He knew what they were up to.
Yeah, and even that girl even mentioned, say,
Mhm,
look, I know who you are. We used to work together, and that's why, because they caught the other guys off guard. They're like, wait, y'all know each other? And she's like, yeah,
mhm.
way back
From his
when.
past.
Yeah. So she knew who he was, but the other guys didn't, you know.
Talk about the droid that said, "I'll be doing the piloting. I'm better than you. My reaction time, and I'll get us to land on the prison undetected." And Mandalorian wasn't very happy with that, being that this is this android and his ship in the Racer Crest.
Yeah. Well, he pretty much did what he said he was going to do, but the only thing that distracted him was the child, and he realized that thing or the child wasn't what it was supposed to be, because if you remember, he said, "Yeah, that's my pet," or they assumed it was his pet actually, and so when he opened up that one little message thing, that message board thing, and it had a Apollo on there,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
It's
and
like interesting. Yeah, he was digging through his stuff.
yeah,
Joy was
yeah,
helping
he was.
himself to the log information in the Racer Crest.
And so when he found out what it was, he was about to go. Like, all right, I'm going to have to eliminate uh, this child, and
How
and he,
stupid is that robot? Like the child's worth more alive. How could
yeah,
it not distinguish that?
well, he's supposed to, it's a droid. What you expect is always going to have its own faults and everything. He could do everything else, but when
The
it came to
cute.
that,
It was a cute cat and mouse game between him and the child. The child was like always 2 or 3 steps ahead of him, like watching him, and
mm,
this thing searching for him, and every little nook and cranny, every closet.
yeah. And so when he finally did find him, he was about to shoot him, and then the child like closed his eyes, and he was just going like this, and then next thing you know, you hear this explosion. And he looked at his hand like,
He's like,
"Whoa!"
"Whoa,
And
I need
then
to
you
dial down
realize,
my force."
yeah, and then you
Holy
realize it was
hell!
Mando that actually saved him and everything.
He
It,
was ready to pull that trigger. He was probably going to kill that droid, whether he was going to kill the child or not. He was going on his ship with
yeah,
intentions of finishing off after what the rest of the crew did to him on board.
yeah. So, talk about how it all ended. When they finally got back to the home base.
Yeah, so he took the deal from the guy from his past, the brother of the Twi'lek, this male Twi'lek, which Kevin recently mentioned a few weeks ago that he didn't realize that there were male versions of that species, but apparently there are. They're always portrayed in the previous trilogy, as females, and then if you look at the expanding universe and video games, you don't ever see male Twi'leks. And here's
Yeah,
one, this guy, the brother, he's like, "Come on, Mando." He's like, "Just bring me in, and I'll be worth more to you alive than leaving me here," And he thought he was getting one up on him because he knew what him and his buddy would try once they got there. Like they paid him, everything seemed fine. And then the backstabbing was about to commence, but Mando was, again, uh, he looks a few steps ahead, and the guy realized that he had the homing thing that single human that was manning that
yeah,
prison had, and that had a location tracker for the New Republic. And here come 3 X-wings, and they
yeah,
see this guy's base, and yeah, it's coming from there. There's a vehicle coming out, and it's coming out hot, like hostile. So we have the clearance to engage and destroy this, and they do.
yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
So how awesome was it for you to see those 3 X-wings?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, how did you feel about that?
they looked amazing. I mean, they looked like um, The fact that the Republic is, I know it's a big galaxy and there's a lot of space to patrol. The fact that the Republic is still thriving after the events of the fall of the Empire, as someone who grew up watching the original trilogy, is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a spectacular, what a treat that this show, we've seen an ATST, we've seen the Sandcrawler, we've seen Dewbacks, we've seen Mos Eisley, and now here we are seeing a fleet, a squadron of X-Wings. I mean, the nostalgia is just, it's overrunning on the show.
Mm-hmm. And it's not over yet. We've still got what, 2 more episodes, or maybe
Two more
2 more
chapters.
episodes. Yeah.
The one special about this week is it is airing on Wednesday instead of Friday, because people will be watching Rise of Skywalker as early as Thursday because of midnight release.
Okay.
There is something in
makes
this
sense.
week's episode that directly ties to the events of Rise of Skywalker. It was
Gotcha.
planted that way deliberately. So we have that Easter egg to look forward to.
Then after you watch
So
that,
chapter 7 is going to have something critical to the events we're going to see unfold when we see Rise of Skywalker next weekend.
Hell yeah.
And that was done by choice. It was planned that way by Favreau and, you know, JJ and the powers that be at Disney. So
yeah. See, they know what's up. They know how to make it. They know how to make Star Wars exciting again. You know.
I mean, for some of us, we never lost hope. You know, we always had our love of the originals and our, you know, it's you can still look back at the prequels and still they served their purpose. It was George's story that he wanted to share. I don't feel that the prequels were as revolutionary as they could have been, or as the original trilogy was, but it was a story that George wanted to tell in the way he told it. And whether everyone agreed with it or not, or loved it, he just wanted, now that he had technology on his side, he wanted to tell that story. And yeah, he was criticized for it, but
yeah,
that's just anything in the entertainment world.
Yeah, usually when you try to add to a story or any franchise, no matter what it is, it's never going to be on par with the original movies, you know, that was made for a particular story. You know, that's just like saying, like all the films, and then you got all these new ones afterwards. You know, it's never going to be the same because a lot of those movies were really bad. You know, but most of them were really good. You know, and the same thing with the Bonds films. You know, you have the Connery films along with the Daniel Craig films. You know, you can't compare the two. It's like comparing apples and oranges. You know, because you're going to have your fan base on the Timothy Dalton films and you know and so forth. You know, a lot of times. I mean, me personally, I always liked the Pierce Bronson films because I was a teenager when I saw all those movies.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Those are the ones.
GoldenEye brought a new, fresh generation of fans to Bond that may not had grown up watching them like we did, you and I did, because we had that ability, but not everyone did. But GoldenEye brought in a new fan base, especially the tie-in to the video game. The N64 video game made people go back to see what GoldenEye was about. And since they did, every Bronsman film that came out after that, they were ready day one to go see it because of getting that N64 audience, that younger audience, in a product that was really something that was from our dad's era, the 60s and 70s, you know.
Right.
Connery and Roger Moore was 60s and 70s. We were, you know, we're still into like Muppet Babies and shit at that time. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that being said, you know, once Rise of Skywalker wraps up, hopefully it makes up for what The Last Jedi did.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it healed a little bit of healing.
yeah,
What we need,
and everybody's going to have their little set of generation. Like our time was the original trilogy, and the '90s
Mhm.
babies would be like the prequels, and then the people that were born in this year, in the 2000s, early 2000s, this is their trilogy if that's what they're into. And then after this one, I know here in a couple of years they're going to have another set of trilogy. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's always going to be a revolving door when it comes to generations, when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I don't expect everybody to like everything. It's going to have everything's going to have its pros and cons when it comes to that. So, but I'm excited. Hopefully, once the Mandalorian is done, hopefully it will continue on with another season. Hopefully this isn't just a one-off thing. Hopefully it will be
Yeah.
like a regular
It's
thing.
been warmly received so well. It would be so financially foolish to not continue to go down this until the interest declines, until they see a reason why people don't want more of this, give them more.
Yeah, I could probably see this show running at least a good 3, maybe 4 seasons.
I'm
If
hoping no less than 3 for sure. I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I
that's why I
think
said 3,
four
maybe 4.
four is probably should as far
Pushing it.
as this story should go,
Yeah.
and before it gets redundant, But that's our discussion of chapter 6. Thank you guys for watching and liking the video. Thank you to Mr. Blucher. And we are going to do a very special episode 13 of the Savage Podcast. And it's going to be all Star Wars centric, and nothing will be off topic. We're talking the prequels. We're talking about why Last Jedi left such a bad taste in our mouths. We're talking our hopes and our I think Kev wants to discuss some theories he has for how Rise of Skywalker is going to turn out. And we're going to talk everything like our childhood love of it, our first, so it's going to be a great episode. So look forward to episode 13. The entire episode is going to be nothing but Star Wars. So thank you, Dave, brother, and catch you on the next upload.
My
And
pleasure.
that's our reaction to chapter 6 in The Mandalorian. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please comment below. Give us your thoughts. We'd love to see what you thought of the episode.